We jinxed it.
We jinxed it.
We jinxed it. He jinxed it. We caused the crash. We were happy last week, and of course, when we're happy, right after being happy, well, the markets crash. I'm still bullish. I'll explain why. This is going to be the most bullish episode that we've done.
100K was defended today. If the bulls doesn't show up here at 100K,
Institutional money that we all craved and wanted desperately to legitimize us. Okay, now we're on the investment curve and it's legitimized us, but this is what happens.
okay, this is the best innovation that has happened and it's going to remain the same.
You have Alex Beck there talking about it'll be the biggest alt season ever.
Yeah.
I think it will be. I think what he misunderstood was you can't just look at the price of Bitcoin as a judge of that, because that is not a retail price. And alt season is driven by retail.
You need to be very careful for Q float.
That's a better incentive. That's a better story.
Exactly.
We're talking about narratives. That's the narrative.
Would you like to come have some coffee and pie with me?
All right.
Here we are.
Here we are. We killed crypto.
Yeah.
I knew we were going to kill crypto. We were way too bullish last week. I'm still bullish. I'll explain why. This is going to be the most bullish episode that we've done, I think. I'm still bullish. Anyway, it's been a tough week. It's been a really tough week. Wow. I need some Irish coffee. We've had massive liquidations. Bitcoin's down to about 100, keeping the 100 support level. I actually think we'll see Bitcoin dip below 100. Okay, firstly, let's talk about what's happened. What happened in the last week?
I think the sentiment has died.
Yep.
That's what I feel. And a lot of selling now from the OGs. Like they have sold a couple $1 billion last week as well. And there's no demand, not enough demand. The ETFs are flowing
outside
outflowing.
of institutions, yeah.
Yeah, they have sold as well. So institutional selling.
Yeah, BlackRock started selling, but I mean BlackRock sold sort of the last dip and then got back in. So I think institutions buy and sell. It's not. I don't think that's massive alarm bells.
Yeah.
I think the alt season not getting here hurt, but I think Bitcoin, Ethereum prices were driven by ETFs, institutions. There was not enough interest in any sort of altcoin. There's not enough retail interest, which is why I actually think this wipeout is good. I actually think it's good to get retail back in at a lower price into Bitcoin and get them back into the market. I mean, if we look at the biggest issue that we have at the moment, firstly, I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm not going to quote anything at the moment, but I think the 4-year crypto, like Bitcoin cycles out the window. I think like this cycle has not performed like the last 4 years. It has not performed like since the last halving. Nothing's happening, and I think that's because of the ETFs, the institutional money that we all craved and wanted desperately to legitimize us. Okay, now we're on the investment curve and it's legitimized us, but this is what happens. But I don't think there's been enough liquidity in the market. There's no retail liquidity. The US changing their debt structure to a 5-year cycle. They haven't printed money. I just think it's all M2 money supply isn't high enough. That's my hopium. As soon as the US turns on the money printers, we'll be good.
There needs to be some sort of narrative. That's what I feel, and that's what I've been mentioning on every video as well. Like the narratives are like slowly or trying to, like they are just dying, right? So there's a new narrative that comes in within 3 days. It's just gone.
I think that's because everyone's
pump and dump.
That's because everyone's chasing the last alt season. I don't think that's going to happen. They're chasing the same thing. That we
there have been an alt season, I would say, but partially, like to some assets. Like right now, the privacy narrative you might have seen, right? We discussed about it last week as well. Like all the Dino coins pumping out of nowhere.
Ripple pumped, Zcash pumped. Zcash was the only thing that was still up. I think like 20% yesterday.
Zcash, Dash is another OG project in terms of privacy that was.
So I think it's definitely
very selective.
There's a privacy narrative at the moment.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, whenever these narratives pop up, it's like the accumulation is already done. And then the narrative is just all over the place, wherein the smart people are just taking the profits out. So that's what I've seen, personally speaking, in terms of like the altcoins, wherein a new narrative comes, for example, X402 payments, the AI agentic payments that we were discussing last week.
Yeah.
Virtual is still holding well, but if the market goes bearish, I would say like people will just siphon out of it as well.
I think the market is bearish now. I think it'll be a small
It's
bearish movement. I still
anything like if like 100K was defended today, like the daily closed above 100K.
yeah.
But if it's a constant, if the bulls doesn't show up here at 100K, then
What's the next support? Like 95, right?
92, yeah.
92. See, I think we hit that.
But if we hit that, then I think the next 2 to 3 months, I'm not expecting anything. Like if Bitcoin tries to settle in anything below 100K, I think the narrative or the sentiment or the algos might trigger more selling, right? Because 100K is a psychological level.
I think we talked about that last week. I think it's a psychological level. I think we enter into a bear or we slow down things. I still do think we have a bounce back, hopefully early next year.
But only
So that's when I said I'm bullish. I'm going back to buying Bitcoin. I think it's a good time to buy Bitcoin. I'm dollar cost averaging in. I actually practiced what I preach and set up an auto investment strategy, DCA strategy on day one.
Yeah.
And I'm chasing, so I got out of all my XRP. I think XRP is done. If you look at the traditional XRP life cycle, 77 days, 144 days.
Yeah.
I know Ripple maxis don't want to hear it. Hey, we love Ripple. We're chatting with Ripple as a company, so we love Ripple.
But not the XRP token, I would say.
But I think
There's
XRP,
a big difference.
I mean, it goes through, I think XRP goes through its motions, and I think it's it's done through that. So I've sold all my XRP just to hold some USDT. So I'm holding USDT now and using that to dollar cost average into Bitcoin because I think it still drops a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'll be looking to fill up my bags with as much spot held Bitcoin as I can. Now I hold some of these old coin positions that we got into projects that we believe in, Pengu, that I do think have long-term longevity. So I'm not panic selling any of those. I may sell some like smaller bags that I got into.
Ondo?
I'm gonna hold on though, only because
There's no clarity on the value that Ondo token
no clarity.
provides,
So
right?
like I'm happy to hold it and see what happens. It's like I still think real world assets run. I mean like Plume, Pal, some of the AI narratives I'll get out of, and I think for me it'll be risk adverse, accumulating as much Bitcoin and ETH as I can. I think ETH still runs. I think ETH's got a little bit more to fall, percentage
It's
wise.
already hit 3,000 today.
Yeah, I'm worried about ETH. I paid
Solana
off.
hit less than 150.
I paid off my my Aave loan, ETH loan.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. So that's
Was close
where
to
I
being
think
liquidated. So I think stacking more Bitcoin. Like I got to go up to the office and do my expense claims just so I got some more cash after like a year of not doing my expense claims in just to buy more Bitcoin and ETH. So I think that's the smart play for me now.
I think
I am going to try and I'm going back to researching and trying to find some altcoins to do smaller punts on because they're so small now, like $100 here, $100 there could really be good in the long run. On the DEX, on the Day 1X swap.
Yeah.
Things like some AI narratives for fun. I've seen some gaming AI narratives that I'm interested in. Things like that, just going back into research mode, but trying to stack as much Bitcoin as I can.
Yeah, I think that's where the market is headed to. If there's not a lot of
Because
upside,
Bitcoin has to
volatility.
pump first again before alts.
Well,
right?
it's all about Bitcoin. This cycle has always all about.
Well, this
Bitcoin.
cycle's been about institutions.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like this is the cycle wherein only Bitcoin or very selective altcoins have performed or outperformed Bitcoin.
See, that's what I'm saying. There just hasn't been the
cycle.
liquidity from retail to, I think, hold up an alt season, and that's what's
because the
happening.
retailers have always been struggling with mortgage payments, the higher interest rates, and that's what is happening, right?
And US hasn't turned on the money printing,
Yeah, even
which
if
we
they
expected them. Like even like QT was still not in QE.
Yeah, they are just ending the QT on December 1st.
Yeah. So there's still.
the QE starts afterwards, but the thing is,
We
like,
don't know when though. It's not automatic. See, I thought it was an automatic type
No,
thing. They
no,
have
no.
to like so it could lag behind as well.
that's what we have seen previously. When in 2019, when the QT ended, the alts and the BTC market still dropped, and then the QE emerged on after the COVID crash,
Yeah.
and then we saw some good upside. That's where I want to be cautious. I would say it's smarter play to be just sitting in stable coins, just generating some passive yield on the stable coins. That's what I see. I think it's not.
Yeah, so that's interesting for a lot of people. And look, spoiler alert, we are working on a yield and staking infrastructure on day 1X.
Yeah.
So that is going to come sooner rather than later. It's something that we believe in, and the things that we believe in, we want to pass on to you guys.
Yeah.
And full transparency.
Yeah.
So that is coming. I think that's one strategy, and I think I need to move my USDT now and I'll hold some yield. But I'm keeping my powder dry because I think it's going to be a very good time.
Yeah, I think
this Sunday to buy, I think we see like 95 by Sunday for Bitcoin, unfortunately.
Yeah, only if there are wicks, I would say. If there's a lower time frame wick, I don't want the price to be accepted below 100K. That's like, I was bearish below 110, right? Now we're sitting at 100. We never know if
I think it's a short drop. I don't think we sit below 100.
Well, I
think we put like the liquidation.
Yeah, the cluster and everything. So the longs get wiped out. But the thing is, like the altcoins, they're just massively down, right? So, and there's no.
So there's some alts that are down 90%. You know, it's.
And if it's a Bitcoin cycle, if people are just getting back into Bitcoin, I see more downside on the altcoins.
100%.
Yeah. So
I think you need to work out what alts you want to hold long term, and we've always. I don't think anyone can go through any like we get our own FOMO. We get excited about projects, Pengu. But I do think any of the alts that we have gone in are still long-term holds, like Chainlink.
I
think we'll have it stay in the sun. Pengu, Pendle.
But the thing
I
is,
do think Ondo has to stay in the sun as soon as they sort of work out what they want to do with it. I don't think they'll abandon it.
Yeah. That's where I want to be very cautious with placing bets on altcoins straight away. Because if Bitcoin drops and the Bitcoin dominance goes up, wherein like the alt's gonna be just rattled, man. That's what I feel.
Even I don't think there's any.
Even like Chainlink is like struggling around $14.
Yeah.
With all the fundamentals right now in place, I think it's a technical breakdown. Nothing has changed fundamentally. I'm fundamentally more bullish.
Yeah, I'm fundamentally more bullish, and I'm still fundamentally bullish on the blockchain.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this is just really a manipulated. It's either a manipulated peak, and now we're seeing a correction, or this is a manipulated dip to shake out a lot of holders and for the institutions to buy up more crypto. Whatever conspiracy theory you want to get into.
If we just see the charts of Bitcoin, I think it was smart enough. That's what we have always told, right? 125, 135 are the levels where you.
Yeah,
need
I said
to
135. I said 135 would be peak. We didn't hit there. We hit 125.
Yeah, we've always
which is what took me by surprise. I thought we would see 135. I still think we do eventually. I think next year. But that's what took me by surprise. We should have sold more. We did take profits at 125. So always make sure you take your profits. I think it's an interesting time now to regroup.
Yeah.
I think we could have a very quick turnaround if the US starts printing money and retail comes in to crypto, and we'll see the same thing we've been saying. We'll see Bitcoin run first, ETH run first, and then your blue chip alts will run.
Yeah, but the thing is, they are already massively down. So I think it's smarter.
So it's a great time to buy.
Yeah, DCA in.
It's a great time to DCA.
DCA in, I would say, not straight away buy and just hoping for something, because
dollar cost average into, I think,
the solid fundamental, solid projects having no.
Do you think we should do like pick the sort of the niche or the sector which we advocated before, or do you think we should just pick like one project to DCA in AI, like Near, which is at the top of AI, or Render, one gaming?
Honestly, I wouldn't suggest that for the time being.
Small DCAs in.
Yeah, why not? If you really believe in those projects,
I think more the narratives than the projects, right?
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, like, you need to be very cautious with the token unlock. So how my strategy has evolved over like 4 or 5 years.
Man, I can't wait for the next cycle. Hopefully there's no token unlocks anymore, man.
Yeah,
that's also been, I think,
all of those things.
I think token unlocks have been the worst thing that's come out of this cycle.
Yeah, and it's still happening, right? That's why I was showing you last week, as well as like I think last
Give me
month.
a good old-fashioned rug pull.
Yeah.
Where it blew your face off straight away.
What happens when you're just
slow rug pulls via token unlocks, man?
And you're just DCing into those rug pulls or like the token unlocks, man, which is never bullish, right? So I think the key right now here is to just focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Chainlink and one or two other projects. That's what I personally feel.
Yeah.
And I think the DCN strategy is very smart only on those sort of projects. Apart from that, I'm not personally jumping into anything.
No, I'm just like I said, I'll poke around. I think there's some interesting projects that are for
just
me
here and
only
there.
what I can afford to lose, and I'm talking about like a couple $100 here or there.
Yeah.
Like some interesting. I want to do a little bit more research. I just started yesterday was a public holiday here in Melbourne,
Yeah.
so I was doing a little bit of research around some like AI gaming just to see really what's happening.
Yeah.
I
think there's
and what's a good sort of like.
nothing new that's been happening. It's just like copy paste of like.
No,
what we've
there's a
discussed.
couple. I'll bring it to the table maybe next week.
New innovations?
There's one really cool one that I was looking at that is allows people to do really simple games. It's very early on, but publish simple games via AI prompt. So you can sort of like write this AI prompt for a game, and then it's a marketplace where anybody can sort of like download and play these games. It's just like an interesting. That's one sort of like just something.
What happens with the tokens?
A little bit.
That's always
but
sort of question that
yeah.
I'll always have. Yeah, and I definitely.
Well, you need the token to subscribe to the game. Like it's
some sort of
bit of a
utility.
thing. I'm looking at a little bit of like the tech behind things, which, to be honest, is usually what I do during a dip. And the fact that my mind went there straight away.
Yep.
Yesterday, without even thinking it's a dip, I think shows that we just instinctively know that we're in a bear market. I don't know how long we'll be in the bear.
Yeah.
It's a weird bull bear.
It's a like altcoins are in the bear market.
Altcoins are in the bear market.
Bitcoin is now officially in a bear market because it has dropped below 20% level. But with Bitcoin, you can not say it's a bear market. Like there are days wherein it might just go up and just retrace up a bit.
You're going to trade at all? Swing trade Bitcoin or anything at all? Or
I'm just waiting.
Just DCA?
I'm just waiting. I want to see like the higher time frame closes. That's what. If Bitcoin gets accepted below 100K, I think then we might see more downside. That's what I personally feel.
Yeah.
And it can be up to 92 or 87 or who knows, right? Because if there's less demand and the OGs try to sell it more, because that's what we have seen. We have seen tremendous sell pressure only from the OGs.
But I think that was psychological. Oh, we might dip below 100, and those people with cold hands sold because they didn't want to sit below 100. I think OGs that have been in there for OG time are firm believers, I would like to think, and they know, okay.
But they are the ones taking the profits. They are the ones that are cycling their bags out of Bitcoin now after holding for more than 10 years.
Into what?
Into USD probably. They are just done with the markets. Like there will be a day wherein you are just taking profits and just living off. That's what I feel like. People selling $2 billion of Bitcoin on an everyday basis, and then there's not enough demand coming from retail or as well as institutions.
I think that's just been the problem of we've been really excited about these prices, which is why we've seen Bitcoin go up, but not altcoins, because there just hasn't been enough retail liquidity to purchase any of these alts and really have a bullish alt season. That's what's happened, and it's partly U.S. politics. It's
and then
it's the fact it's tough out there in a lot of countries, paying mortgages.
Yeah, exactly.
No rate cuts here in Australia. Debt skyrocketing in the U.S. Tariffs. Money printing hasn't been turned on.
Yeah. And
thought we almost saw another accident. So I think that's what's happened. I think as soon as retail, look, when there's liquidity in all markets, liquidity finds gaps.
Yeah, I think how macro is picturing right now is basically S&P is had a bad day yesterday as well.
Yeah.
So if crypto is already topped, that's where I am like literally painting out the things, right? So if the stock market is already topped, you saw a big dip in the gold as well, right?
Yeah.
And now the USD is basically forming a very strong base right now. So USD hasn't dipped much. It's DXY is just struggling around 98, 99, and who knows, it might go above 100 as well. So whenever the dollar is strong or strong enough, because Jay Powell remarks literally sent shockwave across every market, right? Wherein he's specifically mentioned
Which is why it's good to hold USD stablecoins.
Exactly, because the environment has automatically or suddenly turned to risk off. That's where we're seeing youth selling off the stock market as well. And what is happening right now with SPX 500 is it's all about AI. So Nvidia is the company that is making chips for all the AI companies, right?
Yep.
And they are the ones making the investment into other AI companies to be able to get more business.
Yep.
So it's a leverage loop going around
Yeah.
internally within like 5 to 7 players. The rest of the SPX 500 index is just bleeding out. So if you see the concentration right now in all those AI tokens or in those AI firms, especially with Google, for example, Meta, Nvidia, and then the other companies that are into the space, they're just doing investments within themselves and trying to prop up the valuation, man. Like
It's almost as if it's a massive house
Bubble.
of cards, Ponzi scheme bubble. Yeah.
it's how leverage works, right?
Yeah.
We just tie
so it's
each
the
other
same-
internally and just prop up the book.
Well, it's the same as you buy. If we talk about your favorite Pendo and Aave,
Yeah.
you're investing in ETH. You're leveraging in Aave, which pumps the price of Aave up, but you're only leveraging in Aave to buy more ETH.
More ETH, yeah.
Which so you go round and round and round, and they
Till-
leverage themselves until one crashes, and they all crash.
Exactly.
So
That's what I'm like trying to emphasize here. So you need to be very careful, considering the macro playbook right now, because SPX has just gone parabolic. There have been huge advancements into AI space. The valuations have propped up like $2 trillion, right?
Yeah.
But there's not enough revenue generation based on those numbers.
it's like the NFT
It's in a
game.
very heated territory right now, and if SPX or any risk on markets or equity markets go crazily down, then I'm not sure what people will be. What's the use of people buying or like ciphering into crypto when US
See,
dollar
but
is very strong?
there's an argument to be made for these types of companies to invest in crypto because especially Nvidia benefits when mining is at a high, right? So
Yeah.
Nvidia can take some of that money, further the
Leverage loop
Ponzi,
into
leverage loop
crypto.
by buying into Bitcoin, pump the
Yeah.
price of Bitcoin, sell their miners, boost the price of Nvidia, and around and round and round we go. And that's
But
the
under
game.
what time? That's the
it's a
thing.
carousel. We just got to work out when we're jumping on.
Exactly.
Like that's it. You
yeah.
just got to time your, when you're a kid and there's that at the playground, that loop, right? And you
Yeah.
sort of like you got to jump on, it's spinning, and you got to jump off
Jump
at the
off.
right time so you don't stack it and get bark in your knee.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. I think some of us got bark in our knee,
Yeah.
but overall the wheel is still spinning and it will always spin. It's a cycle.
The wheel will always keep on spinning. That's what I'm seeing, but that's what I'm.
I think like
that's what I
for a
was
lot of
reading.
people, and I think what's happened is like you see, us included, you see these us younger guys that made our money on crypto without really knowing the markets. Like I had no idea about the markets. You just sort of Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, and like you're driving Lambos. Not that I'm driving a Lambo, but there was no sort of education and expected that cycle to repeat. But crypto was really a cheat code for our generation. It was
Yeah,
really a
that's
cheat code for our generation.
Not anymore after like
But now we
having
want, we all
36
wanted,
million shitcoins.
well, we all wanted it to be that and institutional adoption. We all wanted it to be institutionally adopted to prove that we were real investors, to prove that it was a real asset. And guess what? That's what it is. It's on the investment curve now. Like that's what it is.
But it has lost
but
its charm.
now,
Like
A,
Bitcoin.
it's lost its charm.
Yeah.
It's lost. It's not a cheat code anymore.
And B, like
We
what
have to play by those rules now.
exactly. So those rules are always against like the normies, right? That's where all those institutions make or like pump or dump.
I think
but
the
the
one-
overall sentiment, what I've seen today, like considering Bitcoin, it has the second worst day so far in terms of downside percentage for the year. So it's actually a good opportunity if 100K is able to be defended by the bulls. If not, then you can just DC into 92 or 87 or who knows, right? But if Bitcoin has stopped, that's what the thesis says. We can see 70,000 or 60,000, low of 60Ks.
I think we might see. Yeah, I don't know that low. I think I've
But
always
not,
said like
not straight away after 4 months or like a lot of chop here and there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then eventually the push down.
What's dangerous for me is you can have a conversation with a normie at the moment and go, hey, yeah, it's at 100, but this time last year it was 72 or 68 or whatever it was this time last year.
Yeah.
We're running out of that conversation because the graph is moving. And pretty soon, December last year was really good. And it was 100 last year, and it's going to be 100 this year. So that conversation piece for retail is also starting to go away,
Lose,
right?
yeah.
So when we get
Because the prices are back to like,
so
and
that
for a lot of shitcoins, it's way below like,
way below. So that affects I think FOMO. So I think really
Yeah.
In hindsight, man, January was like a hell of a
Yeah.
peak, and we've sort of been holding on. And I think maybe that was the retail peak. I think if we look at retail, that was a lot more retail in December, January last year.
Yeah. That's
the
what
Q1 was retail, was a nice retail peak,
Yeah.
and then institutions came in and kept the price up there.
Yeah.
And we probably should have had this little bit of a correction that we never did because of institutional adoption.
Yeah.
And so Bitcoin was really expensive, and retail never moved into it. Retail moved into gold because there was more upside. Retail moved into the SP 500 because now it's easier to buy through Revolut and the apps. Like, why do you need to buy Bitcoin if you can buy the SP 500?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
easy. You buy it on Revolut Wise the exact same way. You don't even know. You don't see the spreads. You just hit buy.
Yeah.
So I think we didn't have the narrative for retail to get into Bitcoin and then cycle out into altcoins.
And then there's
Which is why we never saw alt
Trump
season.
commenting
Then
that
there's
he has
Trump.
ended.
And we have
The
that.
war
There's
against
been we haven't had the liquidity. That liquidity just hasn't been there. That's it. I think we still see when there's liquidity in the market, we see it flow into all markets, and then it'll find crypto again. It'll find Bitcoin, and then it'll always go back down. It's always looking for leverage, right? And altcoins become a leverage against Bitcoin.
Sorry. Yeah, definitely.
Bitcoin's leverage against, so I do think it's inevitable for us to have another alt season,
Yeah.
another Bitcoin pump. It is inevitable. It will happen.
But very selective alts. Like,
Very
it's
selective
not going to
alts.
be the same. Like, that's what we have mentioned.
Nah, you know what? I think we might have like some because
Top 20, top 50
well, what
alts.
happens is anything like ETH pumps and everything on ETH pumps, right? So you used to have the beta play pumps.
But there are now like thousands of betas. Like, they
But
all
a
can't
pump,
pump.
a pump. You won't have a massive 20x anymore. But that's you being a DJ, greedy DJ, and you have like a 2x pump. I think we still have,
That's it.
we
that's
still
very
have the pump.
short-lived, so
but I
it's
think it's
not-
in and out of narratives.
Yeah.
In and out of narratives, and so I think the best thing I would recommend at the moment is don't even look at the charts. If you're looking for something to invest, like stay in Bitcoin, but if you are looking for something to invest in, look at what the influencers are talking about,
Yeah.
because that's what's moving. The X is just moving very little. Man, imagine what would happen to the market. We talk about imagine what would happen to the markets if the old OGs moved out Bitcoin. Imagine what would happen to the markets if X went down, because that's where all the narratives are coming from.
Yeah.
Right, if there was no more tweets,
Crypto Twitter.
no more
crypto
YouTube,
X,
everything would go.
Yeah. Everything would go back to Telegram and Discord. That's where all the community still forms.
But it's all what I'm saying. It's all influences.
It's all influence.
It's not real.
No,
It's not real economics. It's not real fundamentals of the project.
not anymore.
It's just with old seasons. It's just who's talking about what. That's what
Engagement.
pumps.
Yeah, it's all about engagement farming.
That's it.
Also. That's
So
where,
I think you can still find some of these narratives. I think privacy. I'm a little bit more bitter on privacy plays. I don't think it's a real play. I think privacy always pumps when people sell Bitcoin because they don't want to pay taxes. I don't think there's necessarily anything new being done in the privacy sector. I don't think it's necessarily better or worse than it was last cycle, which is people are selling Bitcoin to Zcash or Monero to try and avoid taxes. That's why privacy pumps. We saw Bitcoin crash, privacy pumped by 20%. It's not rocket science.
yeah,
But I do think we're still, hopefully we get some retail coming into Bitcoin now. So DCA into Bitcoin, into ETH. ETH's a little bit riskier, but DCA into ETH. I think your point's great. Stake, get some yield on whatever you're having, even on stable coins.
not on. Just on stablecoins, I would say I wouldn't be advising to stake ETH at these prices if it goes down. Like your spot bag or effectively your holdings go down alongside. So if you're earning 2% stake, it doesn't matter because you're already down 20% now. Unless you are a very big maxi, I would say.
Or unless you have very long term.
Yeah, exactly. So Ethereum is fundamentally a long-term play. That's what we have seen. But if there's not enough demand, for example, then it's a inflation-based token.
Yeah. Yes.
So the more the ETH, the worse it's gonna be for your bags, right?
So I think the name of the game now for investors, if you've
Bitcoin
been
only,
watching
I'd
this long, is Bitcoin, but also starting to position yourself into the next narratives. And I think, we've really been hit around this week. So this episode's a little bit, oh my God, what happened? But I think from next week, we might start exploring some narratives that we believe in, maybe some new projects. I'm not going to recommend any sort of financial advice, but I do think it's interesting to see what is out there in case some people do want to take a bit of a punt. And it's back into that territory until things change. By all means, please spot, don't leverage.
Yeah, what
Don't
I've
hold
learned
leverage.
this cycle, it's all about companies that are making actual revenue rather than just because they're like millions of altcoins, you can't just figure out what this altcoin is all about.
Yeah.
And
It's-
what sort of fundamentals or
That's
money
right.
it's just making.
That's right.
So you need to be very careful with in and out, and just, I would say, like, just be in top 5 crypto market coins. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, like, so like couple pointers just to
I
add.
do think, but I think it's interesting to have a look at smaller margin cap. I see now, like, I'm not going to name any names until I do more research, but there are some really small market cap businesses that are building on the blockchain that are making a little bit of revenue.
Yeah.
Probably the same, by a little bit, it's probably the same as some of these massive maxi cap coins because they're overpriced. But I think that's sort of what we're seeing now. People are still building, even in this market. They're building. There's still projects that are building real projects on, usually around AI, or that's what I've looked into at the moment in gaming. So I do think there is still some things to pick up. And I mean, there's always, something always pops up, like look at Aster, which did pump right before the crash.
Yeah.
I think that's we're talking about influencers because CZ,
Is the biggest influencer of the world, right, in terms of crypto. So he did buy
Except for
day
Trump.
before.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
what did he do?
He bought it, and then he tweeted that he bought it, and now he was like defending yesterday that whenever he buys, it always goes down.
He tweeted that he bought it with his own personal money.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, this is my personal bag. I bought into Aster because I believe in it, and that forced a massive pump.
And
I
then
do think.
it dumped way below his
But then
buying price,
everything
and
sold
now
up.
It's back.
I
Yeah.
think it's holding Bitcoin. I think first move when we start seeing some upside will probably be back into BNB, back into Aster, back into Hype. Are you still holding Hype? No. You got out of Hype.
Not that much, because like if the market really goes into bearish side, I see the trading volumes will drop, and eventually Hype is having its own token unlocks.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be enough fuel. I really love the project or the tech side of Hype.
And I think it comes back. I think they're doing business. I think it comes back. As a smart investor, you get out.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to be very smart and like
Don't marry your
You
bags.
just, yeah, exactly. You just don't need to be blindsided by the fact that okay, this is the best innovation that has happened, and it's going to remain the same.
Yeah.
There are competitors in the market like Hype got competed by Astro straight away via Caesar Binance, right? And then there are other projects as well. So what I personally feel, you just need to be very careful with the token unlocks that are coming for Q4. Even if the liquidity returns, I think it's going to be very slow and cautiously timed.
Yep.
That's what I feel, because if Bitcoin is not defended around these levels, there's a big opportunity that comes, like it comes down, and then you can get your limits filled down under.
It's all. I was just checking.
Is it below 100K right now?
Yeah, 99.
Yeah, so if there's not
Bitcoin's
enough demand,
at time of recording, Bitcoin's at 99,053 and ETH 3,173.
yeah, I think what we have seen is like ETH went to $3,040. I think we might see a sweep below 3,000 personally for liquidation. That's to get the long liquidations.
Yeah.
I'm having some sort of ladder bids placed around 2,900 just in case. But I think anything below 98 for Bitcoin, because there's a VWAP, 365 days VWAP level at 98, which is a very solid support.
Okay, so what do you think is a good buying price for ETH?
Anything between 28 to 3,000 is where I would love it to be stabilized.
Bitcoin dominance is 60%, fear and greed is 36%. So fear and greed, like I actually thought it'd be lower than that. I mean, that's very low, 36%, but
It went to 28.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe this is not updated live, but yeah, we did see like
No,
iterating.
it has updated live.
Okay. Yeah.
Look, we're still seeing whales purchasing, right? If we go into
USDC stables.
stables, yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to Ahab and have a look at the transactions for whales, it's USDC, DAI. Can't believe DAI is still a thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of BTC. So people are buying BTC. So actually a lot of whales are picking up 100 million BTC, 55 million, 110 million BTC,
Yeah. The
wrapped,
thing is like
500 million wrapped Bitcoin, ETH
the,
71. So yeah, so
I think
buying back
the only thing I'm very cautioned about is like I don't see immediate buy opportunities at this price. I know it's a psychological level, and 100K is a very big respective reward. So Bitcoin has spent like more than almost 6 months above 100K.
yeah,
It's dipped below after July or like February, I think.
yeah.
But just to be like, this is a good DCA level for first letter bid for potentially 20% of the bag. And then if it's not defended, I think we see definitely good 10% down because there are no immediate levels of support. And there's no stopping. If the market really creates that sort of panic, I say Bitcoin below 90,000 in a couple of weeks. Unless there's a new news in the market or there's a new narrative that gets flipped out via Trump or something like that. Because the equities are tanking as well, right? So you can't expect crypto to just go out of nowhere.
Right.
Because crypto has been very lagging, or I would say weak.
I think that's the thing. It's emergency services. Fire trucks putting out the Bitcoin fire.
Yeah, Bitcoin fire. But
I think crypto's lagging, Bitcoin's lagging, but I think that is once again because retail never really came in because there hasn't been the liquidity from retail that we've seen.
Yeah.
You can't expect
they
on
did
season.
Have some rate cuts, like US did.
I think there's just so much uncertainty with the US government being on hold.
Yeah, it has entered the longest streak, man.
Yeah, money printing not going on. There's so much
It's
uncertainty,
sort of a psychological
worry
crisis.
that no one's thinking about buying into Bitcoin. Okay?
Exactly.
Which is why a low Bitcoin getting the institutions out, because remember, the worst thing that could happen is if liquidity comes into the market and Bitcoin's too high because they'll go into gold or anything else, right? Nothing yet. I think they need to get into Bitcoin before altcoins.
Yeah.
So having a lower Bitcoin when liquidity comes into retail, I think is good long term.
Yeah. I think, I don't see a massive downside unless Sailor starts to fumble his bag and starts selling because
I think that's his bag
is like 77 grand. The average buy is 77 grand. That's like roughly 23% down. And Bitcoin can do it. That's out of question, right? So
what happens if he gets liquidated?
No, he won't get liquidation because the liquidation levels are way below $50,000.
Okay.
But it will create like a massive downside spiral for all those DAT companies that we have seen that have been just manipulating their, I wouldn't say manipulating, but they are buying Bitcoin or Ethereum based on their balance sheets. And that's the thing we have seen. Like even like a couple weeks back, there was a news wherein a company sold 20 million worth of Ethereum that they bought because their NAV or the stock in comparison to the stock, their MNAV dropped below $1, like below 1 unit. So I think all those fancy companies that have bought Ethereum or Bitcoin on their treasury, and if their stocks drop, they need to buy back their stocks. That's how they've created that spiral, right?
Yeah.
So, and it can turn.
Price of stocks will go up.
Exactly. So now, once the price of the stocks drop, then they need to sell off their Ethereum or Bitcoin holdings in order to fulfill their obligations to buy the stock back.
Look, I think there's two truths. Don't leverage. Keep your money in spot. Bitcoin is sort of what you want to hold, if anything, at the moment.
Yeah. Just be cautious with buying Bitcoin as well. Like it's not recommended that you go all in at these levels. You just need to don't catch the knife. That's what I would say. Because if Bitcoin drops below, and we have seen the OG selling. We haven't seen a massive institutional selling. That numbers are yet to be out today, but I believe the ETF outflows from yesterday will be massive. Because the volume traded on Bitcoin yesterday was very big.
Yeah.
And a lot of
and it didn't come from retail.
So that's what I feel like. If the companies start to sell their treasuries or the inventory that they've collected over a period of 6 months, for example, Bitcoin, right?
That'll cause another panic sell. Look, but the two truths are the fundamentals are still there. There is a lot of institutional adoption. Countries are still moving to have Bitcoin as part of their reserves. France is still mining Bitcoin. Other countries are still buying Bitcoin. So the overall narrative, it's a very...
Fundamentally, it's very healthy.
Fundamentally, it's very healthy. Retail is just not here.
Yeah.
So I think once retail does come in, and I think if you look at the way investment works and liquidity works, retail will come in. It's just a matter of when. I think we're in a healthy position now. It'll boom up. So
I think
if you bought Bitcoin now, it could still dip, but you're going to be good in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. If you are a Bitcoin maxi or a believer, The other thing that I want to emphasize here is there's never been enough incentivization for a retailer to come back into crypto because the stock market is presenting them with 2x,
Yeah.
3x gains.
And
man.
it's so easy to buy now. That's what I'm saying. That's what's different. What everybody overlooked is the fact that Robinhood, Revolut, all these apps that have come up this time learned from what made crypto so cool was the accessibility and financial freedom that we always talked about. We always talked about crypto was meant to make investment accessible to everybody. Well, guess what? Investment's accessible to everybody for everything now.
Yeah. But they are just building pipes on the blockchain. That's
They're just building pipes on the blockchain.
Technology is being adopted, but not the random shitcoin tokens that have propped into the market. And there's a big inflation. Like every day you're just launching your creator coins, for example, on Base. Now you've got launch pads wherein you can just tweak the tokenomics within 5 minutes, get a new token to the market doing nothing, right? So that's where I think
all your all the meme coins you were shilling killed it all, man.
I shilled very selective on meme coins.
No, but I think memes
are done for the time being. That's what I feel. There's no incentive.
I think memes are done forever, man. I don't see memes coming back.
Yeah.
I just don't see it coming back because there's so many projects now that have legitimate fundamentals and community around them that I don't think you just
Nothing
have.
happens to the price.
I don't think, that doesn't happen, but there's so many of them to choose from
Yeah.
that I don't really think anyone's gonna by memes, I mean the dog memes are gone, right? Random
The
memes.
dog memes are more
I
than
think-
2,000. Which dog, man?
Well, I think that's what I mean. Exactly.
Which
I just
cat?
don't.
Which dog?
I don't see that happening. I think you have select memes like SPX 6900 that are built around a community
Yeah.
that will still have legs, that will still have some life. I haven't
Yeah.
sold my SPX 6900 because that's just a wild card at any point, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's those memes that have legs, that have community. So I think nowadays in crypto, you either need to have real community or you need to have fundamentals and some sort of business strategy behind it.
Yeah.
And I think those are the projects
That's
to look
it.
into. You can't just go, oh, this was a funny tweet, I'm going to make a coin out of it. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
The
I
pump
think.
fun days are gone. That was a flash in the pan.
Yeah. Even that's what I'm emphasizing here. So let's say the memes dies, the pump fund will die eventually because they
Well,
were just
pump
buying
fund will
back
have
their
to
token
evolve.
based on the revenue, right? That's the whole model.
Yeah.
And if they are not generating enough revenue, then the market, the money will not be moved to buy back. And that's what tanks the price of the tokens. So that's where I think the two key things are just hold Bitcoin or try to descend into smart
I think for
projects
me,
like
I think
Bitcoin.
I know you're saying hold stables. I think for me, if you're a semi long term, if you're okay holding your Bitcoin for a year,
This is a very good buy
then
price.
start DCAing now because yes, there'll be a little bit maybe on a dip, maybe not. We don't know.
Yeah.
But this is a good buy-in price because I am confident that we will have another all-time high within a year. I think we will have another all-time high in Q1. I think we'll have another all-time high in Q1 when
There's
money printing turns
QE.
on.
Yeah, definitely.
QE, money printing turns on. So I know we're very bearish, bitter and bitter.
I would say I'm being realistic today.
But to me, long term, I'm
Yeah.
bullish. I think this is better. This is a better situation to get retail into Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And when
only if-
retail flows into Bitcoin, then only then can we have a real old season.
Yeah.
And we haven't had retail flow into Bitcoin. It's been just institutions.
Yeah, that's my
So
100%.
we need an all-time high driven by retail.
100%.
Driven by retail liquidity before we can have, because institutions are not going to cycle into memes.
Exactly. So that's the question. At what prices does the retail comes in and they see, okay, Bitcoin is on a sale? Because we haven't seen a lot of celebrations on the new all-time highs either on the Bitcoin.
We haven't, but I've never once, it wasn't like last time, I never once saw a Bitcoin story on the news.
Yeah, very
I remember,
limited.
I remember,
very
I remember
limited.
the pump I was working at the Age, and I
Yeah.
remember on the screens Bitcoin hits
Bitcoin,
36,000.
exactly.
They were talking about it on the news like it was a thing, and then Bitcoin crashes. Bitcoin is dead. News
And there's
story, and
nothing
then
news.
Bitcoin is
Yeah.
all time high.
No
We
news
haven't
is
had
same.
that. We haven't had that because retail hasn't been here. Retail hasn't cared about Bitcoin, or
Exactly.
they haven't had the money. I think they've cared. That's the wrong term. I think they haven't had the liquidity, the money to get in. Right?
That's
They
what I
haven't
want
been-
to see. That's where I'm focusing on. At what prices does it literally makes a retailer to go in Bitcoin again? because like a lot of Bitcoin
Under 100.
under 100.
I think over 100
Only
they've gone,
for-
oh my God,
Only
that's
there
so
are
much.
a lot of news around. Like, okay, is Bitcoin dead again? Like some sort of
Yeah, but that's what people buy, right? So I
Exactly.
think we need some news about Bitcoin being dead.
Dead
I think we
again.
need the US sorting its shit out.
yeah.
The government starting to print some money, and then I think you'll see once retail starts coming in and going, okay, Bitcoin was at 126, I can buy it now under 100, it'll go back there, right? And I think you go, okay, we can start doing that, and then we see retail flow into Bitcoin, then we see retail flow into ETH, then we see retail flow into altcoins, but the good alts, because now when we have that liquidity in the market, we've never had a blockchain Web3 crypto market where there's been so many fundamentals from Aave,
Real world
Pendu,
is- like real world
real
adoption.
world projects.
Yeah.
And so I think, you have Alex Beck there talking about it'll be the biggest alt market, alt season ever.
Yeah.
I think it will be. I think what he misunderstood was you can't just look at the price of Bitcoin as a judge of that, because that is not a retail price. And altcoin,
Anymore, yeah.
alt season is driven by retail.
Yeah. No,
Alt
that's true.
season is driven by retail. We haven't.
And retailer needs an incentivization sort of thing wherein
They
if
need to
they are
think they
able
can
to
make money.
outperform-
They need to think they can make money.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's where
You talk about incentivization. The incentivization is, can I make money? If I buy Bitcoin now, can I make money? I think now, because even we were saying, like, if you look, even if you look at it, we were saying like Bitcoin was at 125, and we were saying maybe we see 135. That's not a massive
upside.
That's not a massive upside. That's not a
10%,
massive
yeah.
incentive for people to sell a really strong SP 500, a really strong gold to get into a potential 10% for
10%.
Bitcoin and risk
Correct.
it, right? But if I go to you now, okay, Bitcoin's 99.
Yeah.
Let me check. What is it? What are we on? Oh, back to 100.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's at 100, supporting thing. Next week it'll be 125. You made 25%. That's a better incentive. That's a better story.
Exactly.
We're talking
Yeah.
about narratives. That's the narrative.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am actually bullish on retail coming back in. I think we need it. Like, this hurts.
Maybe Q1. Yeah.
This hurts, but I've always been saying it's been pushed out to Q1 because we haven't seen the US debt cycle is longer now. They haven't turned the money printing on. I am now actually more bullish than I was.
But the question is like, what happens if the altcoins still Q1? Like you can't be just having 90%, 95% drawdown and just celebrate a 2x.
Let's get rid of the horrible altcoins, the horrible projects there. Let's focus on the ones actually doing something.
Yeah.
Actually have revenue. Let's do research again. I'm actually looking forward to, let's doing episodes now
again,
about some
yeah.
research again.
Yeah.
And go, okay, now is the time to buy. Now is the time to set up your bags for the next thing, and Bitcoin runs first. So that's why I'm spot buying. I'm trying to get as much money as I can together to spot buy into Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's
Because
what
I don't think I
trying to do as
regret
well.
it in a year.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's like, even if you lose on a conviction that is on Bitcoin. So that's what I feel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think as long as you can hold, as long as you can ride it out on Bitcoin, I think we're okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it from us. We've been bitter bullish,
Yeah.
sort of bitter but sort of bullish. Hopefully next week we have a little bit
Bullish
upside.
on the fundamentals,
Bullish
bitter
on the
on the
fundamentals.
price.
Bullish on Bitcoin, bitter on the price. I think I think it's another tough week ahead.
Yeah. A lot of chop, I would say. That's what we have mentioned anyway, irrespective, like to avoid leverage. Because the market is right now in a condition wherein even the news are not impacting assets. If the sentiment goes fearful or like panic, then we will definitely see more downside. That's what I
The
feel.
news just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like the media, like it's it is what it is.
So
All right,
let's see.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe below. We'll be coming back next week with some research, a little bit more things to talk about again, which is a good time to buy. Thank you for
New tokens, new chapters.
new tokens. I don't think we'll be onboarding a lot of new tokens on
For the
day
time,
1x. I
yeah.
think it's just we have the projects that we believe in that are fundamentally strong for the long term. So buy some spot. I think it's through like Chainlink, AVAX, BNB. I think still ends up. BNB is probably a good buy because whether or not people sell or buy, BNB goes up at the moment. Aster. I think
Probably good to DCA and all of those sort
DCA,
of
but I
projects,
would recommend DCAing it.
or auto buy strategies or whatever you want to.
Yeah, watch our old videos on auto
Good
buy
to be in
strategies.
spot. Yeah.
We're back there again, but that's fine. It's a good place to be in.
Yep. See you next week.
We'll see you next week.